Running mate to John Dramani Mahama, Professor Jainano Pukwajima is urging NDC members to turn the enthusiasm that has characterized a nomination into victory for the party in December 2020. Her first public appearance since her nomination took place, and she charged the party's women and young people to continue working hard for the success of the NDC come December. She was addressing a meeting with NDC women in cantonment right here in the capital. Joseph Opoku-Gapo was there.
The Minority Caucus in Parliament, NDC women organizers, female parliamentary candidate, and Kaya Ye met the NDC running mate to congratulate her on her victory. Clad in white attire and NDC paraphernalia, the women sang and hailed her choice as running mate to the flag bearer. Women's organizer Dr. Hannah Bisiu said there couldn't have been a better choice.
The choice of a female running mate or vice presidential candidate by the NDC is one that will forever be remembered by the Ghanaian people. The dawn of a new era has come when a woman will also have the opportunity to serve at the highest decision-making level of the country. This is a decision that has received immense applause the world over. Of course, it has become evident, and understandably so, that our opponents, obviously threatened by the John and Jane ticket we are presenting in December, have chosen to get themselves dirty in a false bid to discredit Professor Nana Jane.
Chairperson of the NDC Women's Caucus in Parliament, Comfort Doyo, pledged the support of the women to the flag bearer and her running mate.
Please bear in mind that we as female parliamentarians are looking up to you. Young ladies are looking up to you as role model. And all women of this country are looking up to you to represent their interests in the governance of this country. We want to assure you that the Women Caucus in Parliament is solidly behind you, and we will use all our strength to push you to the top.
Professor Opoku-Agyemang urged the women to continue working for the party's victory.
The enthusiasm that has greeted the decision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is not lost on any of us. I urge that we turn that enthusiasm into reality. And we all know we can.
We can.
Yes, we can.
It will be recalled, NPP General Secretary John Boydu recently said when Professor Opoku-Agyemang steps out to town, only Kaya Ye will step out and wave at her. In the midst of her presentation, she called out representatives from the Kaya Ye Association who were present. She urged them not to allow anyone to disrespect them.
I want you to know that you have proper names. Your name is not Kaya Ye. You have proper names. You deserve the respect like everybody else. Don't allow anyone to disrespect you. That's all I want you to say. Without you, our society will not be what it is. Believe that whatever you are doing in whatever category is as important as at any level. So I want to tell you, thank you very much.
Jamal Mohammed, who is leader of the Kaya Ye Women Association, said they feel offended by the comments and are demanding an apology from Mr. Boydu.
We recall the NPP General Secretary John Boydu say when Professor Nana Opoku-Agyemang steps out, it's only the Kaya Ye people who actually wave at her. Did you find that comment from John Boydu offensive or anything like that, or you thought it's an okay comment?
Yes, we found it.
Why? Why were you worried about that comment?
We are for it for her.
Moving on, Multipark Limited, manufacturer of five-star drinks, has named Ghanaian filmmaker Jackie Appiah as its brand ambassador for its Pella mineral water brand. Now, the move, according to managers of the firm, is to make the product affordable and accessible to clients And Jackie Appiah is also expected to win humanitarian support from this partnership for the company. The target of the ambassadorial position is to make Pella Water the preferred choice on the Ghanaian market. The MD of Multipack Limited is Hassan Jaber.
Is all what have giving back from the society by extending helping hands to the children who need help, and then by a way or others. This is the more important, to support and then to help the children who need help. This is the more we care, and then for the way forward. Jackie, we have seen her how she's successful with the other brand, and then especially with Kaiser brand. So we can see her as a brand ambassador. We can see her as the ideal person for Pella Mineral Water.
And the newly named Pella Mineral Water Ambassador, Jackie Appiah, indicated that the partnership will help get support for the needy in Ghana.
Be a great success in Ghana and beyond. I'm happy with the humanitarian work that you guys do, the company does. Watching the video clips, it touched my heart because, as you all know, every December 5th and other days that I don't bring out, I do charity work, and we always reach out to people, the less privileged. We look for people who are disadvantaged, and I'm happy that both of us have the same interest. So, yes, so I believe that we will work together, and thank you for choosing me.
Well, Jackie Appiah there, and we all do know her, the brand that she also, well, commands right here in Ghana. But that'll be it. We'll have the newspapers next. Myself, Gifty Ando Appiah, and Mama Vioso Abaji right here in the studio. Well, so we're on, and well, Mama Vioso Abaji.
Yes, Roland Walker.
I love the way you've dressed this Friday. Very beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh,
thank you.
Adwayewa?
Definitely.
All right. Well, we've also been joined on the stream by Gifty. Gifty, good morning to you. All right. We don't have Gifty.
You miss Gifty.
Yeah, I always miss her. She's very calm these days. So.
Have you been entangled before?
Not sure, no.
Hey, Roland.
Asking, what do you mean by entangled line?
Did they ask, what do you mean by that?
The Will Smith thing. That has inspired our conversation today. No, open relationship.
Well, we're entangling things on the show this morning.
Yeah.
But are you sure you haven't been entangled before?
No, I haven't been.
Do you know when you are?
No, I think that taking inspiration from what Will Smith and Jada did, there was an agreement in the first place that we want to have an open relationship. I think it becomes thorny who you get entangled with, and the reasons and the response of the person giving you that response. So, and if you watch the video, I don't know whether we can get it. Will Smith said, look, we have this, it's cool, I'm okay, but it's his reaction when the wife said, look, I got entangled with August Alsina, and apparently he is a friend of the family because he's a friend to their son Jaden. Okay, so that creates a certain, and he said, and I think it's the familiarity of the person that you had a relationship with that maybe even though we had agreed at the first time, it's painful in the present. Yeah.
Well,
because I know him so well, and all of a sudden him, it's like my son, you know.
Well, listen, if you're entangled, I kind of feel like maybe you may not be so sure that you are until you get out of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
if we get that part, maybe we'll play. You get to find that his face, it's the face, when they were having that reality interaction, the face. And he said, and I got entangled, because he wanted to know it's okay. So I got entangled, and then his face just dropped. As an animal drupu, as an animal drupu, like.
Well, that's one of our conversations this morning on a Relationship Friday. Listen, we're just letting loose. But we also have a very important conversation. Quite a number of people that I know, that we know, Roland, because we talked about it yesterday, who have, thank God, recovered from COVID-19, but they still battle with sometimes headaches. Some say they get tired easily after just doing a little bit of work. And we've heard these comments from several people. So we want to talk about it with our doctor who's been kind enough to be available. So if you have any issues, you've had COVID-19 and you've recovered, but you still have those little issues, we want to hear it. And so we will have our doctor join us here on the AM show after sports this morning. It's a very important conversation. You've got to stick with us. But let's do the newspapers. The Daily Graphic newspaper, here's what's on the front page. Errand parties to miss 2020 polls. And the Electoral Commission says with 5 months to the December 7 general election, only 7 out of the 28 political parties have submitted their 2019 audited accounts to the Commission. Banks alert to protect depositors' funds from hackers. Andani assures public. And he's the president of the Ghana Association of Bankers, but also the boss at Stanbic Bank. Interpol chases 2 over Airbus scandal. That's been very topical over the last maybe almost 24 hours, perhaps. The International Police Organization has issued an arrest warrant for 2 individuals over the alleged role in the Airbus scandal. Samuel Foster Adam, alias Samuel Adam Mahama, and Philip Sean Middlemas are alleged to have accepted and also paid a bribe on behalf of Airbus to influence public officials in Ghana to approve the purchase of 3 aircrafts. The red alert was published by Interpol on July 10, 2020. Assurances are given that an extradition will be sought upon arrest of the person in conformity with national laws and or the applicable bilateral and multilateral treaties, the red alert stated. There's a lot of background to this. The whole Airbus scandal, the document, the Airbus reaction, corruption practice in Ghana, all part of this story. Details on page 13. Attention to the back page now. 2 cops drowned in the river Oda, which is a very, very tragic story because they had gotten information that there were some robberies, armed robbers, and they were trying to get a hold on the situation. In trying to chase them, they boarded a canoe and gave the suspected robbers a chase on the river. Unfortunately, the canoe they boarded was meant for just 2 passengers, not 4, and midway through the chase, it capsized. 2 of the cops managed to make it to the bank, while the other 2 were said to have drowned together with their service rifles and were subsequently declared missing. So, that's the story on the back page of the paper. So, Western Region runs out of reagents for COVID-19 testing, 3,743 samples in freezer for 3 months. Unbelievable. It says some of the samples are as old as 3 months and have become mere decoration in the storage system of the Efiang Kwanta Regional Hospital. The storage facility at the hospital is said to have become full and unable to receive new samples for storage. Consequently, directives have been given to the district to store samples collected in those areas until the situation improves. And the source told the Daily Graphic that some of the samples had gone bad and had been thrown away. These are this is to confirm whether or not you have COVID-19, and then you treat it as soon as practicable, right? And it's been stored for over 3 months.
Well, it can be stored for.
I get it. But so what happens to the people who are waiting for the results? It
depends on what they took. I think Sputnik doesn't.
It's not even the storage. I mean, my concern is because I have taken like 3 tests already. And the last reliable one, honestly, is not the one that we're used to. Can I say it? The last reliable.
You mean the experience?
The experience, yes. But listen, let me not go there.
No, I think the reality is that I took a test also with you alongside one of our colleagues. And I don't know. They just can't trace samples they had taken for the whole day. And apparently it's not only our day, there's another day, and there's another day.
Wait, hang on, that's the story?
No, not this one.
No, but that's it. I didn't even know.
So it's like, they've traced it now, so hopefully we'll get,
But if I was waiting for the results before...
maybe unless we have to find.
Oh my God.
But we are doing these tests because it's routine for us, yes.
Yeah, but that's the same.
No, I'm putting it into perspective so that the audience don't.
Oh, I think right now a lot of people do COVID-19 tests.
Not a lot of people. You're privileged, so.
No, but listen.
Not that you're. I'm talking about.
But you see the word you use, the privilege. We have to move away from that point.
But that's the reality of our situation.
It's critical. It's critical now that if I went to the hospital and I was complaining and you saw symptoms of malaria, for instance. I feel like right now, it's not even a feeling. We must, as part of the test that you do, the COVID-19 must be part of it.
You read too many.
No,
you watch too many CNN.
This is not reading. This is real. You know, wait.
CNN, these guys are.
Wait until you have like a close.
Oh, Tegana, my friend, coming down.
Have you had the scare before? Because I have.
Yes, I have. I've had it several times.
And listen,
since March, I've had it several times. Each month, March, I had it. April, I've had it. May, and I think you know why. June, I've had it.
Yeah, but the only thing that saves you, I guess, from all the psychological, because if you have it, it's not a death sentence. You can deal with it. We've seen a lot of recoveries, which is fantastic. But the only thing that settles your mind is when you know the results. Do you know what I mean?
I think psychologically.
But, yeah, because if you're still waiting for the result, then you're thinking about it. And you have all sorts of things going on in your mind. Anyway, since you want me to move on, let me move on and do the Ghanaian. I'm making Roland very uncomfortable this morning.
Oh, no, I'm okay. But
to the Ghanaian Times newspaper, front page of the Times, Accra Girls
I actually love it that we're having this conversation because it's not a conversation that we usually will have in the open. And I think that we need to open up and say, these are the things that we're doing. Yeah.
I think it's, we will come back and discuss this Western region situation. I don't think it's peculiar to the Western region because we know we've had some challenges with testing. But to think that close to 4,000 people, they still don't know their fate. And for 3 months, there are people who have, I mean, if you take a sample, the results should come within a week. But, you know. Let's do the Ghanaian Times.
We'll have some few minutes, at least 3 minutes, and talk about this. Because it's what we'll talk about.
Accra Girls Senior High School undergoes disinfection as GES promises to protect all children against COVID-19. Schools must close down based on science, medical evidence. I see Bright up here, who's a child rights advocate. We'll get into a bit of the details of the story if we have time. Airbus bribery saga. Interpol declares Samuel Mahama, 3 others fugitives, orders their arrest. Drivers made to die by hanging. 2 policemen drown while pursuing armed robbers. But this story on page 12 says Jerry Eso, 38, a driver's mate is to die by hanging a second D for killing his wife, Janet Yankee, 34, over prolonged marital issues at Ewisyojo in the Ahanta West District of the Western Region in December 2014. Prosecutors say the accused shot his wife, Janet, and bolted from the scene before she delivered the sentence last Wednesday, the presiding High Court judge. And that didn't print out well. So some of the details missing there, but you can read on this on page 12. I don't know, death sentence by hanging. Well, details of all the front page stories in the center spread. On the back page, COVID-19 Trust Fund donates to institutions in 4 regions. Ghana Irrigation Development Authority Office Complex Commission. My last paper before Roland comes in to do the rest is the Finder, front page of the Finder. $3.9 million Airbus SC bribery scandal. Interpol chases Samuel A. Mahama, brother of ex-President Mahama, and 3 others all our BVR kits are new. EC, justifying because, they say people say, oh, the machines they're using are the old ones. Okay, on COVID-19, 2,065 health workers infected. Second phase of market disinfection starts Sunday. That will be it for the Finder by way of what's on the front page. Roland?
Yeah, so let's do the Daily Dispatch has on the front page, 1979 execution of military officers. Rawlings admits some were innocent, as on page 2. All biometric voter registration kits are new, according to the Electoral Commission. They release a statement to that effect. The Daily Guide also has a story. I just got a message from somebody who is doing the registration. Mm-hmm. One of the officers says it's a lie. All the machines are not new.
Yes,
actually, before the statement, I knew because I was told. Yeah. All the machines are not new. Yeah. So I don't know why.
By their deeds.
All right. So then we have the Daily Guide. Arrest warrant for Mahama, 3 others. 4 million euro Airbus bribe scandal is on, and birth certificate not for identification, according to the Supreme Court.
Hey,
but
that one.
We have other stories there. Okay, so let's discuss.
Oh, the samples, the samples that have been taken, the Western region situation. This is Doche Kobla Akroveto, writing this report, giving us this updates. Okay, so there's some reaction, because the story says, meanwhile, a top health official told the Daily Graphic that other testing centers, particularly the major ones, were so burdened with their own huge numbers of samples for testing that they had been reluctant to receive samples from the Western region ever since the VSD commenced COVID-19 testing in the region. It further indicated that the districts in the region had been asked to create isolation centers at their own levels as support for the inadequate isolation spaces in the regional capital. So as of Wednesday, July 15, the Western region had recorded 2,218 confirmed cases of COVID-19, out of which 2,178 had been discharged with 3 deaths. Well, that's the other side of the story, but I guess you can't hide it any longer. We don't have the capacity.
Yeah, for me, among all the deaths, and I have to say rest in peace to all that we've lost, but Sir John, somebody I was very close to, for him losing his life to this is tragic. It's tragic because, I mean, as a personal person, he's a good human being. And I think that the virus is affecting the whole world. Just this morning, we know that India crossed that mark of 1 million. We also do know that the US and Brazil have long crossed them. Brazil just joined overnight 2 million. And so the reality is with the world. It's the deaths that we have to take consolation in. But even if we lose a life, that's a mainstay. The thing is, you don't know who it is going to be. So if we have officialdom giving us the information, we have to be realistic with ourselves, because we're not living in an island. We have schoolmates, we have friends who are doctors, we have friends who are nurses and other health workers. We have people in administration at these centers, just like the Electoral Commission related, and they tell us stories. More so, when you move on to the third phase, now it is with us. It's in our homes, in our offices. So now we are also experiencing the process. So when you tell us stories that just don't correlate, it makes us think, look.
Well, some of the things I've learned over the period.
That's what
some of the things I've learned over the period, because I did 2 tests and I was still waiting for the results. Except that the last one I did, Anyaho, was promptly delivered, and that gave me, I think that gave me a lot of confidence to even come back to work. But something that I learned, listen, not everybody can afford the vitamin C that we talk about, but drink a lot of oranges. Oranges for me. And I make sure that everybody in my household, when you have breakfast, you have a glass of fresh orange juice.
Like squeezed?
Squeezed, exactly. Because the younger ones can't suck it out. Like, you have to help them. And even if it means sometimes sieving for them, please do it. Get everybody, drink a lot of oranges, plenty oranges, and a lot of fruits and vegetables, a lot of green leaves. And then, listen, you will be fine. When you take the test, don't wait for the results before you take any of these actions. Just start, drink a lot of juice, a lot of oranges, take the vegetables, and try and not stress yourself. You know, try and not think about it so much. Relax. Like, that helps. And this is from a personal place because I've been there. So I hope that it helps.
Diploma in public health,
because it did help me.
Diploma in public health.
But we're talking, we will continue the conversation after sports on COVID because what we know, because we have friends and family around us who have gone through this, and even after recovery, some complain of some little things.
Yeah.
You know, some can't sleep well, some get tired easily, some will get consistent headaches.
Some even get running tummies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I learned just overnight. There are some few people I know who recovered, apart from what we knew will be discussed before we all went home.
Okay.
Some have aches, tummy aches, some have breathing difficulty, some have running tummies, you know, in between. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, sometimes, and some people have light head, as in they feel like they could faint, which is obvious because you've been through a process, and it's not easy. And then some have recovered, but they almost lost their lives. But I think that is what basically is. The good thing is we have good news in Africa and in Ghana.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the numbers that have lost their lives so far, the Oxford Journal and then the Oxford University itself, its medical school, had done some, I would say, some mathematics, okay? They had indicated that if you look at it, we're going to have about 84,000 or 89,000 deaths in Africa. You know, the CDC, the UN itself had estimated that we're going to have just around 300,000 or something like that of a loss. The US had indicated that we're going to have 1 million, but that was just over the board. But the reality of it is that we've just had about, is it 11,000 or something like that across board, across the continent, and a continent that is having this number of people. Then we have to take solace that it's because we have a population, I don't nearly say voter population, and we have a population that is young. That's a key factor. And then we've been plagued with a lot of problems. Cholera, is it cholera or cholera? Okay, cholera is key. Malaria is always there. We have all the related issues. We don't smoke a lot on the continent like we do. They do outside, and so we've not been susceptible because of the way our body structure
But thankfully, we have great foods if we will.
So it's more natural too.
Exactly.
Organic.
So listen, don't let this disease overtake you. We will survive it. We've got Dr. Joseph Akama, who's a cardiologist. He's helping take all our questions. If you're recovering from COVID-19, this is a conversation for you. If there's anything that you're experiencing after you've been discharged, this is also a conversation for you. We will share other experiences with you so you can share your experiences with us when we spend time with the doctor, Dr. Joseph Akama, who's a cardiologist. He is on the show this morning. So please don't miss it. We have to bring you sport. This is also another thing that dying by hanging in 2020 in Ghana, even though we haven't scrapped it. Are we seriously returning to it? Maybe we will discuss that.
No, not sure.
If we have, if we have time for that.
Okay, we have to take a break. And I had this from Seth Kwame Boateng, who says a special happy birthday to Dr. Margaret Ivy Amwakohene, former Ghana High Commissioner to Canada and now a member of the Council of State. You're 60 today, great age. Long live mom. God continue to bless you. This from Seth Kwame Boateng, Naneya, Kofi and Lady, he says. And then happy birthday to the best boss in the world, Mr. Richard Atiko, CEO of Lemla Group. You own Lemla Petroleum, Gulf Energy, and Legon Cities FC. Okay, that's a good one. This coming from Moshosho, the sports presenter.
Okay.
So today I'm not doing mine. Usually I would have done Sally for Combat.
I just have
who works with the Boku Presbyterian Hospital, but today I'm not doing it.
Oh, Roland Walker.
Yes, darling.
For those of you who were very worried about Peter McMahon, well, just a little news that I want to share. He's doing fantastic.
Oh, great.
He's out of the hospital, and he's doing great. We thank you all for your prayers for Mr. Peter McMahon of the NPP. Listen, we want to talk about a fantastic man right now as we introduce sports. We want to talk about this man, Zidane.
Yeah.
Hala Madrid.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Listen, we were just discussing him before the newspaper review, how he has transformed. Well, I mean, it's not like transformed Real Madrid, but he stood his grounds. He left, came back, and this is the first win for him in 3 years.
Yeah.
And he says this has made him like the happiest man. And it's not like Liverpool winning the league. This
and you know what?
Different.
He's won three Champions League titles, 2 Club World Cups, 2 UEFA Super Cups, 2 La Liga titles, and then, of course, the Spanish Cup as well, 2 times. And then himself, you know, has won accolades, World Cup, that, chale.
So this feeling is even better than the Champions League, he says. Yeah.
Because it was close.
Well,
okay.
You know, if you beat Barca like that, even though Barca is my team, Madrid is not, but
Barca
I
is your
love
team.
Zidane, yes. I love Zidane.
Patrick Gomez also has Barca as his team.
Yeah, Barca is my team, but I love Zidane. He
hasn't eaten since the evening of Thursday.
Oh, I mean, if you lose to the Zidane, Charlie eats. He's a great guy.
All right.
So we've got sports coming your way. And then, of course, Manchester United is still pursuing. Roland, why are you changing that?
Leicester is ahead of you with goals. I don't know why.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, we're still in great form. So we'll bring you sports after this. Stay with us. Well, thanks for staying with us here on the AM show. We've got a very important conversation that we're going to be having pretty shortly. Extreme fatigue, nausea, chest tightness, severe headaches. Well, these are some of the things that some people who have recovered from COVID-19 complain of. So we have a conversation. If you're recovering, if you have recovered, you've been discharged, but you have some headaches, you get tired easily, that you want to share with us. We've got a doctor on standby who will be having the conversation with us and helping all of us. But first, we want to take you to the Ghana Health Service website. Let's check out in terms of Ghana's coronavirus situation, how it looks like. And there you have it. The pandemic, the Ghana situation, new cases 695 that we've recorded so far. Active cases 3,716, recoveries / discharge, because you know that this has changed. The protocol on this has changed. So we've got 22,270, and the deaths stand at 139. So that's the situation that we have here. Of course, our confirmed cases, if you put it all together, is 26,125. There are still people who are not respecting the necessary protocols, but in terms of the critical cases, we've got 8, those on ventilator 4, and then severe cases 25. That's the picture. That's the picture for Ghana. If you look at us today, and I think what is worrying is the fact that some people are simply not taking this serious, and so they kind of put all of us at risk. One of the things that we were sharing earlier when we did the newspaper review was to encourage you, if you've done the tests and you haven't received your results yet, because of course we know that there are quite a huge number of samples that are being stored because we don't have the capacity to do the testing now. So we shared some tips with you. I would go over, but worldwide, this is how it looks. Very scary if you look at the huge number here. And that's why you don't have to take this for granted at all. So recorded 592,791 deaths, amazing recoveries as well. But of course, we know that people or countries still keep recording because in most instances, people are simply not sticking to the necessary protocols. But our concentration this morning is to talk about how you are feeling, if you've gone through the recovery, if you've been discharged, and after a week or so, you're still experiencing either some headaches. Some say they get tired quite easily. I was looking at experiences also from elsewhere, and it's really not different from what I've heard some of my friends say about what they feel weeks after they've recovered. We've got Dr. Joseph Akama. He's a cardiologist. He's been kind enough to join us. He's our doctor on call this morning. Hello, Doc. I see you there. No, unfortunately, okay, yes, we can hear you now.
I am on.
Okay, yes.
Good morning, Mama V. Great to see you.
Good to see you too, Doc. Thank you for your time as always. I was just running through some of the things that has been shared, and I quickly want to just still go over a bit of it. And I was reading this on the BBC in terms of some of the things that people have complained about after recovery, and they say extreme fatigue, nausea, chest tightness, severe headaches, brain fog, and limb pains are among the recurrent symptoms described by some sufferers of COVID-19 for weeks and even months after their diagnosis. And something right here in Ghana, well, the reason we're having this conversation is because we've had friends and sometimes family members who also complain of some of these things. You are the doctor. Help us understand why people still complain of these things. But first of all, what have you also heard? What are some of your colleagues saying about people who have recovered from COVID-19?
Okay, good morning, listeners and watchers. And I want to thank all the doctors and nurses, the laboratory technicians, the X-ray technicians, everybody who is in this fight. We are really in a battlefield right now. The cases are increasing, the complexity of the cases are increasing, and we all have to put our hands together. There's no time for blame game. We have to put our hands together. The citizens, do your part. Please stay at home. If you don't have to go to parties, mingle. Wear your mask 100% of the time when you're out of your room. Please, this is very important. We're really in a dire situation right now. So having said that, I'm going to tell you how many different types of risk cases that we talk about. A confirmed case for COVID-19 is somebody who has the symptoms or who goes for a test and the test is strongly positive. If it's positive, then the person is a confirmed case. Probable cases are people you suspect they have the virus, or they have the testing done, or they have not been tested, they are waiting, and the test is inconclusive. So how is it inconclusive? Some of the laboratory tests are positive, the X-ray is positive, CT scan is positive, but the Noguchi test is negative. Such a person is probable. You will still be isolated by the physician. So these are the cases we're talking about. There's also suspected cases. We're getting a lot of suspected cases because the testing is delayed. So suspected cases, whoever has symptoms, we'll do an X-ray, then we'll put them in isolation or quarantine till we can get the test back. If your doctor says stay home, please stay home. Stay to yourself and then take it from there. Negative cases, obviously, the test has been proven negative. Now, anytime you get a virus, there is something we call post-viral syndrome. So you recover from the virus, but some people go into this post-viral syndrome, which can take a long time. So the common symptoms, like you mentioned, is the persistent fatigue. And then you have diffuse muscle aches, bone pains, muscle aches chronically. Then you have depressive symptoms, chronic headache. And then when you sleep, you don't get to rest. Even though you sleep, you don't get to rest. So these are the common ones. But COVID is new. COVID-19 is new. We don't know what are the consequences. Now the data is coming out. So all of these symptoms, nausea, tiredness, muscle joint pains, these are all the things that we're getting to see. In my practice, I see patients at the University of Ghana Medical Center who have had COVID, and I see them for various reasons. Let me also tell the population, my Ghanaians, my fellow Ghanaians, don't say that because you have hypertension or heart failure, you're going to die if you get COVID and you get petrified, you get stressed. No, I'm seeing up to 5 people who had bad heart conditions, diabetes, who are doing well. People with combination, they had hypertension, diabetes, and heart failure. What else can you get? And they recover from COVID. So don't get so stressed, because the stress alone can cause problems to your heart failure. So the symptoms are real. We have this category of patients who have been tested positive, but they don't have symptoms. What will happen to them in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years? We don't know. So we are still collecting data. So anytime you have been tested positive, even though you don't have the symptoms, or if you recover from the mild nose congestion, loss of sensation, smell, you still have to be seeing the doctor once a while, and then they can monitor you. So sometimes there are doctors who are collecting these patients. Collecting means putting them in their clinic and following them serially to see whether anything will come down the line. So this is our
okay, but Doc, the post-viral fatigue that you talk about, and we've also heard about the headaches, how long should it persist?
Yes, so it can take a long time. We have examples from the previous viral infection, SARS, MERS, and people can have the symptoms over a year, 2 years. Some of them get disabled, they can't go to work. So it is not a joke. But there are instances where some of them are exhaustion. You see, when you go through a stressful moment, there are stages of stress. You can go into chronic stress where it can haunt you, even though it is not related to a virus. The virus indirectly put you through a stressful moment. And just psychologically, you'll be suffering from that for a long time. For instance, my brother always says, if a witch should catch you and you recover, you're going to be really, really stressed for a long time. So similarly, if COVID-19 should get you and you're in the ICU, you come out, the psychological trauma alone can haunt you for a long time. So it is very, very imperative that these instances, you seek help. There are psychologists, okay? Amma Edwin helps the University of Ghana Medical Centers. There are other psychologists you can talk to. Talk to your physician, talk to your family. Then we can help you come out of it. So the fatigue can take a long time. Very debilitating.
I'm also hearing experiences, and we're going to activate the phone lines. You can give us a call. After all, this is your conversation. So 0302 211 or 0302 211 0302. Okay, it's on the screen. 211-69102. You can give us a call. Doc, I was just going to say there are some people who are also expecting that within the 14 days they would recover, and they're going beyond. And some people panic because of that, because you have at the back of your mind, oh, I'm going through a 14-day period, by which time I would have recovered and then I will be normal again. But yours goes beyond the 14 weeks and you tend to panic. What should such people also do?
Yeah, so I think the 14 days is a misnomer. People haven't really expressed what the 14 days mean. And that is why we're having problems. Basically, the patients usually have an instance where by the 14 days, your chance of giving the virus to another person is low. Okay, your chance of giving the virus to another person is low. So such an instance, it is not that you've recovered completely from the virus, but the transmission of the virus to another person is extremely low, almost zero. That is the difference. But the process can take longer. So I have a patient who has recovered from the virus, but she's so petrified. Any little thing, headache, she comes back. And that is the post-traumatic syndrome, stress syndrome, PTSD. It can cause a lot of problems. So post-traumatic distress syndrome, it is a problem. So the post-traumatic stress syndrome. If the person has recovered from a virus, that trauma the person went through can harm the person. So you can live in the symptoms you went through in the ICU, in the fear that overcomes you when the doctors say you are COVID.
Okay, Doc, let's just take some, because I have somebody hanging on the line for a while. Hello, okay. Good morning. Let's go to Tamale. Hello, good morning, if you can hear me. Mustafa?
Good morning.
Good morning, Mustafa. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, great. Any experiences you want to share? Have you recovered?
Yeah. Even though I haven't tested positive yet, but, I was having a problem. And I felt, it was, COVID related.
What gave you the feeling? Were you exhibiting any particular signs?
That is it. I wasn't feeling anything. Severe headache, malaria, and I've never experienced that. So I decided to isolate myself, even though I didn't go for any test. I isolated myself for some time now. I'm now better. There's no malaria because I did some local concoction, and then they advised that I should put on this heat water. I heated water and then kept up myself on it. And then with malaria, later on, I realized that I was okay. I'm now fine, but I haven't done any test to show that I'm COVID.
Okay. How long did you keep yourself away for?
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
Yeah, but I'm okay now. I'm doing it. I can now feel fine. I can, the headache is gone, malaria is gone. Yeah, so
okay.
At the limit.
But what's preventing you from taking the test or talking to a doctor?
Yeah, I did that. I went for this and the doctor said I should take malaria treatment and then I should myself.
Okay, but you still never did the COVID test, the COVID-19 test?
No.
Okay, so what do you want to ask Dr. Kama this morning?
Yeah, as he's saying, I realized that there's tiredness in me.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel there's tiredness in me. When I sleep, I can sleep and then wake up. So that is my business.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll hear what he has for you in a bit. But thank you very much for opening up and sharing. Let's take another call now. Christopher is on the line. Good morning, Christopher.
Yeah.
Christopher, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ada.
Okay, great.
I'm actually a nurse at Ada District Hospital.
Okay.
Amari, you see, when we come to the issues of stress and fatigue in relation to the reported cases, the COVID patient, I think I want to plead with Doc and then also take this opportunity to plead with any other person who tends to handle such cases that let's also talk about the alternative apart from the drug. Because when it comes to stress, I think the best way to deal with this is rather actually talking about the alternative measures like how patients will be relaxed, what we have to do for them.
So thankfully we have you. You have called. So please help us with the alternatives. What are you suggesting?
Okay. So, I would plead with the patients to actually overcome their fears and then plead with family members, most especially if the patients will be able to overcome their fears. It will rely mostly on the family members. I want to plead with Ghanaians, friends, and other family members to show recovered patients the love, in fact, the absolute love that they need. But even more than what they were giving them before they had the kit.
Okay.
Because we tend to realize that most of the time the patients will think, or they'll go through all this stress because they think, after all, my people will intentionally be like they like me, but you see, in and around them, they may be saying a whole lot of things about me. Friends will not be coming. So when people come and then they make them feel at ease. I think that would help in their relaxation.
Okay.
And then
All right.
in as much helping solve the
Great, Christopher. Thank you very much for your contribution as well.
Yeah.
Doc, you're still with me. You had the earlier caller from Tamale. He didn't take the test, but he said.
So I heard him, and he's not alone. He's not alone. There are a lot of patients who are petrified. For some reason, they don't want to have the test done. One, the private testing is expensive. Two, the government testing might come back and it's positive. They don't want their family members to know. They don't want anybody to know. If you are one of these people, please try and go get the test done. The reason is it could be a different condition altogether. So the caller from Tamale had symptoms that looked like COVID. Before COVID, we had these symptoms. We had malaria, we had typhoid, we had viruses. So we still have those viruses. So don't say that because you're feeling fatigue, sneezing, it is the COVID. No, it could be any of these, and some of them are treatable. So if you're having any symptoms, better to go get checked. And the doctors, if there are doctors listening, please counsel these people, okay? And then go through the routine. One of the things I normally open up with my patients is, do you want to be tested for COVID? Case closed. And I push it. Do you want to be? Because some of them, when they come, in their mind, they want to be tested. They are afraid they have the COVID. So if you're talking to them about blood pressure, your sleep, depression, no. The man thinks he has COVID. So you have to try to allay his anxiety and then have the topic. So let's test. So I encourage the government to continue pushing. Negotiate is doing very well. They're getting them more test kits to help us. If we can get a backlog, then we will know.
Okay.
It is not the test that we want to calculate the numbers, but also how to care for the patient. Now, what should you do? If you're having the chronic fatigue, like the caller from Adan said, the nurse said, try to relax. It's difficult. Right now, you're very tired. You feel fatigued. Probably recovered from whatever illness you had. It could be COVID. It could be a viral illness. It could be hepatitis. It could be anything. You don't know, but you didn't get a test. So try to conserve your energy.
Okay.
Replan your life. Prioritize, okay? And pace your life. Eat a lot of good food. Drink a lot of fluids. Start an exercise program and go through some rehabilitation.
Okay, Doc, not to catch you, Aku has been holding on. Let's hear from Aku. Aku is calling from Cantonments. Good morning, Aku. Thanks for holding.
Yes, good morning, Mama Avin.
Yes.
Please, I'd like to find out if choking in the throat can also be a symptom for COVID-19.
Okay. Can you describe the choking you're talking about?
Not like something like breathing. The breathing is not consistent.
Okay.
Yes.
And is this after recovery? Is it after you've tested positive for COVID-19?
No, I've not tested.
Okay, but it's something that you're experiencing and you're wondering.
No, like I hear from people. Okay. I want to find out if it could also be a cause.
Okay, great. Doc will answer that, but let's go to Hohoi. Sefa is on the line. Good morning to you, Sefa.
Good morning, madam.
Oh, Sefas, apologies. Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
No problem, no problem. Hello?
Yes, Sefas, you're on air. Let's hear you.
The symptoms that we always hear about this COVID, and some people have BP, and other serious asthma and those things.
Mm-hmm.
This is making many people not going to hospital this time to check themselves, because they are afraid that the moment they get to the hospital, they will be tagged as COVID patients. Some of them say the moment you go to hospital with these situations, the moment you get to the hospital, they declare you as a COVID patient. So many people are afraid this time to go to hospital, whereby they were having those problems earlier on before the COVID cases.
Okay. So what do you?
I don't know how.
What are your own suggestions?
My suggestion is we should continue to educate people that not all cases are COVID cases. And secondly, when they get to the hospital, the patients who have these cases earlier, the asthma and those things, the hospital people shouldn't just declare them that the moment you have asthma and those things, you have COVID this thing. They should continue to go through their hospital records and try to treat them. Because some people, I know of an old man who went to a hospital and then with coughing, he has been coughing for quite a long time, and it has been part of his life. The moment he got to the hospital, they wanted to quarantine him. So he forced and left the hospital, and the man is still alive up to about 3 months now. So the hospital, the doctors and those at the hospital should also try to study the situation before.
Okay. All right. I get what you're saying, which is really, really important.
Yes.
Dr. Kama, you've heard from Safas. We also had the question from Aku.
Yes. So from the symptoms that we have been exposed to, we know from data and credible sources from the CDC website and also the Ghana Health Service website, you can see the common symptoms that occur. One, fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion of the nose or running nose, nausea or vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal discomfort and diarrhea. These are the common symptoms. Now, as the condition is evolving, we get to know more. In Ghana, the fever, we don't see a lot of people with fever. We don't see a lot of people with fever. In the last 1 week, I've diagnosed about 15 people with COVID. None of them had a fever. None of them had a fever. They don't recall having any fever, but they just feel tired. And then they start coughing, some irritation in their throat. And then they start getting tired. They can't, anything they do, they become tired. So they fatigue. And then you check their oxygen. The oxygen is low. Then you will now send them for the test. So most of them do not have fever. Some few patients have fever. So in Ghana, we're also collecting our data to see. Kolubu, the paramedicine has done a tremendous job. We very soon, I'm pretty sure, will be publishing some of this data that we collected. And our recovery rate is very good. Kudos to the head of department, Dr. J. So all of these symptoms can be taken. Choking has not come up, but if you have sore throats, you can have choking with it. Now, there's no way you can have symptoms more than 3 months that can be COVID, okay? Also, you could have a situation where you have a chronic condition and you have COVID. That alludes to the fact that some patients are mislabeled and some people are not labeled properly. So the gentleman is right that the labeling of patients hastily, if the doctors do it too quickly, it becomes a problem. But the patient should also be aware that we're dealing with uncertainty. We're very uncertain now. So when you come to a hospital, just cooperate for a short while. The fact that they're quarantining doesn't mean that they're going to leave you in the bush or isolate you. So please try to cooperate with the doctors. They're also under stress because if they don't manage you appropriately, then the situation becomes a very dire situation. But the doctors and nurses take you through a screening process. So for instance, at Kolebu, if you come in there, everybody has a mask. The patients have a mask. And then once we detect that your condition could be COVID, we inform you, we counsel you, we get a psychologist to come and counsel you. And then we initiate the protocols. What does it include? We put in a place where we can manage you, your medical condition, the COVID-like symptoms, and then we do the testing. So we don't leave you. There are doctors who are on call 24/7, putting their life in danger, the nurses. So we have COVID-like unit called CDTU, where we're there for about a few days once we run the test. And the government has been very supportive. We should have a turnover quicker, 48 hours. Then we can take you out. If you're negative, we'll take you out, bring the next person. If you're positive, you could either go home to self-isolation if you're not bad, or you go to the intensive care unit or the fever unit. So we have a plan there.
Okay, but Doc, I guess the difficulty is that not every person can have a Kolebu-like experience, because that's a huge facility and there are many people who go to the smaller clinics. But there are people who are not even showing up at all. The people, because you take care of hearts, people who have heart conditions. We've been told how if you have an underlying condition and the disease gets serious, then your chances of survival will also be very low. So what is it part of what do you check? Are you checking for COVID-19 for patients who come in reporting of heart conditions? Hello, Dr. Kama. Okay.
We're not, I'm sorry, my line got interrupted. We're not checking everybody. We do a clinical evaluation. If the doctor is a good doctor, if the nurse practitioner is a good nurse practitioner, if the PA is a good PA, they take you through a series of questions. Sometimes the symptoms are so vivid that you can just see that this person likely has COVID. But we don't just label you in your front like that, because if you don't go to the hospital and it is truly COVID, you're going to suffer dearly and the death rate can go up. You might die in the house. So we prefer that even though you are afraid to come, contact somebody, go and get checked. And sometimes heart failure can look like COVID. Pneumonia can look like COVID. Asthma can look like COVID. But doctors, please, and nurses, you've heard the complaints. We are missing a lot of, a study recently showed that up to 68 to 70% of people do not want to come to a hospital when they're having a heart attack. So that is really serious. Why don't they want to come to the hospital? It's because they are afraid they may be labeled, they are afraid they may catch COVID when they come to a hospital. That needs to be taken care of immediately. So it's better to come. When you come in, make sure you wear your mask. So if you're listening and you have a heart condition, I already told you that I'm taking care of patients who had serious heart condition. One gentleman, his heart was so weak, but he recovered from COVID. Another person had diabetes, heart attack, and high blood pressure, kidney failure. He's recovered from COVID. So don't be so afraid. Now, you may say, where do I go? Go to the hospital. Most of the doctors now, we are all frontline. I have always argued that the labeling of people frontline is wrong. And now we're realizing it. Everybody is frontline. And the hospitals are managing COVID. In the clinics, private hospitals are overwhelmed and they're managing COVID. So go, we'll take care of you. It's better to be in the hospital than to be in the house.
Okay,
all right. Please, don't feel shy. Don't feel, I think we have to really work with the media to take away that stigma that people are going through now.
All right, Doc, let's take some more questions and comments. So give us a call, 0302-211-69102. Mohammed has been holding. Good morning, Mohammed. Oh, apologies to Mohammed. We lost you there, but you too can give us a call right now. Our doctor is on call, particularly if you've tested positive for COVID-19 you've gone through the process of healing, and after the 14 days or whatever days that you took to get better, you're still experiencing some of these common things that we've had people complain about, which is headaches, fatigue. You do something little and you get so tired. Give us a call. This is your conversation. Thankfully, Mohammed is back. Good morning, Mohammed.
Somebody will be admitted at the hospital, but they won't tell him he has got that sickness. So later on, if the person dies, before the doctor will say, yes, he's attacked by that time.
Okay, Mohammed. Mohammed, can you hear me, Mohammed?
Yes, Mohammed.
Okay, great. Mohammed, what's your complaint?
My complaint is from Boku. So, this Boku I'm complaining, the doctors, if they admitted somebody, they won't tell him he was attacked by the coronavirus. You see, later on, the person will die. If the people say they want to take their dead person to go and bury, at that time, they'll say they won't allow.
Is this something that has affected you? Are you talking from a place of personal experience?
Huh? No. We didn't talk with the policemen.
No. I'm asking, is this something that you've experienced yourself that you're telling us?
No, I'm telling you what is happening in our place.
Okay, did it happen to you? Has it happened to you?
No, it's happened to other people.
Okay. All right. Listen, I really would love to listen to you a lot more. So please speak to my producer off air, because I don't want this conversation on air. We want to entirely listen to it before we broadcast it, especially the way that you're saying it. So if you've got, we've just got some few minutes to wrap up now. If you've still got questions, kindly give us a call on 0302-211-69102. Dr. Kama, I want us to end with, because I've also done that, I also did do the test and I waited for my results. In 2 of the tests, the results never came. But thankfully, the last one that I did with a private facility, the results came in very quickly. Within the period when you're waiting or when you think you have recovered, what are some of the things that you must do? Let's go over the tips again before we wrap up.
Okay, so I want to share with the gentleman who is so frustrated in Boku, your frustration. I see.
Okay, we are having some challenges, obviously.
With you, and I want to plead with them. The private practitioners, please counsel patients. Sit down with them, meet the family. Just they have an idea that maybe I have COVID. Just open it up. It doesn't take long. Please avoid this, hide the thing till last minute. Don't do that. It is not medically ethical to hide somebody's condition till he dies. So discuss with them, be open. Having said that, the condition is such a way that if you get tested and you're home, there are a number of things you can do, okay? One is stay away from people. That's number one. If you have to go out for a meeting that you cannot avoid, wear a mask and stay away from people. Don't go to any election area or registration area and mingle with people when you know that you've been tested and you are likely to have a condition. Number two, if you've been tested and you are developing symptoms, call a doctor. You can go to the University of Ghana Medical Center. They'll take care of you. You can go to the Ghana East Medical Center if you're in Accra, or Kolebu, or any hospital, and say, look, I really feel I have COVID. I've been tested, but the test hasn't come. There are some tests that we can use to detect whether you have any inflammation in your system. So for instance, CRP, ESR, ferritin, and D-dimer. These are common tests that the doctor can do. If they are very high, it's likely that you have an infection in you, not necessarily COVID, an infection in you. So the doctor can initiate some treatment whilst you're waiting. Okay, so if you're at home, the best thing is avoid contact, okay, isolate, do the natural remedies, vitamin C. If you can get zinc, take it twice a day, 1 tablet twice a day. If you can get a lot of fruits, you eat a lot of fruits, drink a lot of water, rest, exercise, and then if you think that you're having a cold, call the doctor, they give some antibiotics on top of that. Okay, if they can't escalate, whilst we have treated people, I have treated 3 people who have recovered before the test came. So don't feel that we cannot treat you. We know what it looks like. We can start the treatment when the medicine, the test hasn't come back. The test after the man has recovered, 14 days, 15 days later. So we can initiate the treatment. Okay. So don't sit at home and just get dejected.
All right.
Turning out, I guess that's what you're going to tell me. But what I want us to know is that this condition is going to be with us for a long time. It's getting worse. We have to support each other. The citizens, my fellow Ghanaians, please, I'm kneeling down and begging you, don't go out if you don't have to go out. Don't go to parties if you don't have to go. If you have to go, you wear your mask. Wear your mask, cover your nose, your mouth. If you have glasses, put them on. Okay, it's very, very essential. Don't say you are using a face shield without a mask. That is a no-no. You are just making things worse.
Okay.
Face mask is a no-no.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, if you think you have the symptoms, see the doctor. They can initiate certain treatment. The neem leaf heat vapor is working for a lot of people. That is what we have to be doing whilst psyching yourself. Okay. And I think the conditions of, the condition of post-viral syndrome will be with us for a long time. You have chronic fatigue, muscle aches, lack of sleep, lack of enough sleep, restful sleep. You may have problems with concentration. You might be depressed, or you may be suffering from the post-traumatic stress disorder. So those are the common things that we should do, and support each other.
Okay.
Try to rest, to decrease your activity. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our doctor on call this morning, Dr. Joseph Akama, always very helpful, extremely on our conversations here on the AM show. Well, we hope that this conversation will help you and you've learned something from it. At least if you're still waiting for your result, they've collected your samples, please remember to do what the doctor said we should all do. Take a lot of fruits, drink the juice. If you simply can't afford to buy the vitamin C, it's not really necessary. You can get it from the natural foods that we always eat. Take a lot of the greens and we will all stay healthy. Remember to wear your mask, protect you and protect me as well in the process. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. The next one is coming up. It's a Relationship Friday, and we're asking if, you've been entangled in an open relationship. We want to hear your experiences. That's coming up right after this. We're going to be joined by some of our friends who will be sharing experiences with us. We would love to hear from you as well, so please stay with us.
I know, it's because you're so difficult to deal with. But Mavafi, we do have the Max for All project.
Yes.
And it's with Joy Prime, but before this...
Also with Joy News.
Yes,
we're all on board on this. The whole idea is that not every person can afford a mask. Some of us use the one that we discard right after some hours, but there are some people who can't afford a mask at all. And that's why this campaign is on, so we can raise a lot more masks and give it to persons who absolutely need it. We'll have that conversation, but also to remind you, the NDC flag bearer John Mahama's choice of running mate has been hailed by some as a master stroke that will win votes for the opposition party from gender advocates. Mr. Mahama has been given details why he settled on Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Speaking at a call on the founder of the party, Jerry John Rawlings, Mr. Mahama said his running mate is competent, and that was the deciding factor for him.
We're not choosing her just because she's a woman. She has the kind of credentials that make her worthy of the nomination. She's been a lecturer in the University of Cape Coast for so many years, and she came out as the first female vice-chancellor of a public university in Ghana. I appointed her as Minister of Education, and she served with integrity, without blemish. She did quite a lot in the area of education. She supervised the free school uniforms program, the free school sandals program, In her time, at the time we came into office, in the basic schools, 4 children used to share 1 textbook. By the time she left office as education minister, each child had 4 textbooks to themselves. And this improved learning in our country. Under her watch in the Ministry of Education, Ghana for 3 successive years scored the highest in the West African school certificate examination. And we took the 3 top spots consecutively. I had the honor to present the awards to the students at the time. So she did talk a lot. She started a program for the new secondary schools, the E-blocks. We commissioned a little over 40 of them, but by the time we left office, at least 73 of them were almost ready for occupation. And so there's a lot that she's done to be worthy of being nominated, and I want to thank you for the collaboration we shared in coming to that decision.
And we do know that we're in a period where we're encouraging everybody to be wearing masks, but as part of the collaboration to make sure that we expand this not only within the multimedia group, we're also knowing that converging and collaborating is effective. And so there's a mask for all virtual concert as well, just to encourage more people to wear masks, but also get the ones that are medically approved, but also affordable, in order for all of us to get all roped in this great initiative and education. And it's why we have Sadiq Abdullah Abu, who is a convener, one of the many conveners of the Max for All virtual concerts in collaboration with the multimedia group Joy Prime, or Joy News and the rest of the subsidiaries, making sure that we bring this to you. He's joining us. He will tell us how many artists on the bill. And I tell you, already you can see him behind the flyer. And Sadiq, good morning to you. Great. He also is the organizer of the 3 music awards. Let me put that into perspective. Charlie Sadiq, what's up?
Thanks. I mean, good morning, Roland. Thanks for having me.
Now, this great initiative, what was it all about? Just briefly give me, just in 30 seconds, let's see how it goes.
Well, I mean, we recognize that around this time, it's important that people adhere to the protocols, strongly. Most importantly, everybody's advised to wear their masks to prevent themselves from getting the deadly COVID-19. So we came together and recognized that there are few people in society who do not have the means to be able to afford a mask. Some of them can't actually even go beyond finding food to eat. So we came together, a number of us working in the events, media, and television space, came together to organize a campaign to most importantly advise them, and get them to wear the mask. And then thirdly, try to organize to get people to donate masks for these vulnerable people, which include people with disabilities, people in the prisons, people in the Buster Institute, and people in very, very poor places in Accra.
Now, we do know that definitely there will be artists on the bill and other supporting people in this charity event.
Yes. So, the first part of it has already happened in partnership with Multimedia, which is that we've already done the campaign, which included, featured a lot more celebrities. The second part we are going to experience is the climax of it, which is a concert featuring Kwame Eugene, Kiddy, Mr. Drew, Yao Sapon, Bright of Bookback fame, Lamisi, and a number of other artists and poets that, came together to not only entertain people, but also help to organize and get people to donate masks to the vulnerable.
Okay, so when is this going to take place? How are we supposed to join?
Yeah, it's happening tomorrow. It's happening live virtually on Joy Prime TV and Adum TV at 8 p.m. on tomorrow, Saturday. So at 8 p.m. on both channels, it's going to air. It's also going to air on the respective social media platforms of Adum TV, Joy Prime TV, and the Mask for All social media platform.
Well, for all the things that we have to do, we know that we have to join. And Sadiq, that was a great one. Yes. Great one. Yes, and we'll keep the trumpet blazing and keep the information out there for you, as well as the rest of the partnership we have. How would you say or rate this partnership?
This is a collaboration by people that really mean well for society, by organizations that are in an industry that have been the hardest hit by Corona. We, regardless of the fact that we've been hardest hit, there are no people convening. We are not coming together to do events or make money. Setting aside all our losses to ensure that we run a social impact campaign where people are brought up to speed with having to adhere to all the protocols, and most importantly, help the vulnerable in society to acquire that most important tool to enable them adhere to the protocol, which is the mask.
Right. Well, Sadiq Abdullah Abu is one of the conveners for the Max 4 virtual concert in collaboration with the multimedia group. We have Joy Prime, Joy News, and then also Adobe. Promises to be exciting. Make sure you stick and say. He's also the convener or the organizer for the Free Music Award, but it's where we have to lead you on. Let me just give you a sneak peek of what's coming in entertainment with Kadi, because if you're a fan of Big Brother, I'm sure you know Mercy Eke, and a big winner for the Big Brother Niger season. So Kadi will come in and tell us more about it. Stick and stay.
Good morning, my name is Kadi and you're welcome to the Showbiz segment right here on the AM show. Now, if you're a fan of Big Brother, I'm sure you know Mercy Eke was a winner for Big Brother Niger Season 4 in 2019. Now, there's COVID-19 everywhere now, and as a result, the entertainment industry has taken a hit. But Big Brother Niger 2020 will still go ahead nonetheless. Now, I've been joined by Ni via Zoom to tell us more about this year's edition. Ni, good morning.
Good morning, Kadi.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm well, and you?
I'm good. Now let's just go straight to the point. I understand this year's edition will be launched this Sunday. Can you please tell us more about it?
Right, so the competition starts on Sunday at 6 p.m. on channel 198 on DSTV and on GoTV channel 129. And we are asking our subscribers that it's such a great entertainment. It's addictive TV. And this is the time for you to get your box activated.
Okay, now we are launching it this Sunday, but what went into the selection of the housemates, considering the fact that we are not in normal times? Can you please run us through the process of selection?
Right, so just like we're having this Zoom interaction, what happened was sometime in June, there was a virtual auditioning. It had the highest number ever of persons wanting to audition for the show. Finally, the housemates were selected, and as we speak, they are in quarantine. They've been in quarantine for the past 11 days. The whole reason is to ensure that before they go into the house, they are all without the virus, and also all the safety protocols are clearly observed. Fortunately, they've been tested a couple of times already. None of them has the virus. They go into the competition on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. On DSTV and GoTV. And we are expecting that we'll have a very exciting event because the prize package this time around is fabulous.
Okay, now, but how many housemates will be in the house this year, and for how long will it run for?
The competition runs for 90 plus days, about 91 days in all. The number of housemates in the house, that's also part of the surprise for this year as well. Okay. We ask that you tune in on Sunday at 6 p.m. and get your box activated now.
Okay. All right, but what's different? What's going to be different about this season of Big Brother Niger? What should we expect?
This season, there will be no audience at the eviction shows. We know because of the current condition, it's very difficult to congregate people in one space. So no audiences at the eviction shows. There will be the ninjas, which are typical on your Friday night parties. The ninjas will not be coming into the house. Even the production crew will be working from a physical distance as well. There'll be very limited interaction with the members in the house. The prize package is even juicier than you can ever think of. It's over $210,000 in prize package. Wow. The winner gets a two-bedroom house. They get sponsor products, 1 year supply of Pepsi, 1 year supply of Indomie, 1 year supply of toothpaste, mobile phones, trips to Dublin, trips to the final of the UEFA Champions League, and a whole lot more just for this year's competition. And it even gets better for audiences, because you can also win some of these exciting prizes during the competition as well.
Wow, these prizes are juicy, as he said. Now, but when should we expect the Ghana edition of Big Brother? Because I would like to join because of these, you know, I like to win some of these prizes myself.
Okay, so as we speak, there are no plans for Big Brother Ghana as we speak, but there's opportunity for Africa to collaborate sometime in the future again for what we've seen for Big Brother Africa.
Okay, but why is that? What have we done? Why are we not included in this?
We have not done anything. To organize this competition is quite an expensive project, and to raise the kind of sponsorship that is required for the show, we have not been able to identify any major sponsors in Ghana who can foot this kind of bill. It's quite an expensive project.
Okay, but will the housemates be housed in Nigeria? They'll be Nigeria.
Yes, so as we speak, there is a purpose-built house for Big Brother, and which is quite exciting for us, because this means that if any country is able to raise a sponsorship, you can now have your event in Nigeria, which is just 45 minutes away from us. Unfortunately, this year we could not give journalists the experience that we did last year. Last year, for example, we had journalists from Ghana and other African countries spend 1 week in the house in Nigeria, even before the contestants entered into the house. We wish we could have done it again this year. Unfortunately, we can't do it due to the current conditions that we find ourselves in. But we can believe, you can trust that when conditions improve, we will give journalists and other investors an opportunity to be part of the Big Brother experience. But the exciting bit is, for just 40 cedis on DSTV and GoTV, you can get to watch the Big Brother Niger 24/7 on your TV, your DSTV or GoTV decoder.
Okay, thank you so much, Nee, for having time for us this morning. Thank you so much for giving us updates on Big Brother Niger, which will be launched this Sunday, so if you don't want to miss out. And there are lots of surprises for us, so let's check it out.